All right, so by now you've seen the video drop. You've heard the news. The Oakland Ballers are coming, a new Pioneer League team to Oakland. The guys that are bringing this team here are with me right now. And Paul and Bryan, maybe we could start with Paul just so it's easier, but tell everybody who you are and why you've done this.
I'm Paul Freedman. I've been an Oakland resident for 30 years. I'm a huge sports fan, huge fan of Oakland. We, like most fans, have gone through a really difficult time in Oakland. We've seen 3 teams leave in a short amount of time. The A's, thinking about the A's leaving and thinking about the hole in the hearts of the Oakland sports community was just too much for us to bear. We couldn't let that be the last chapter in the beautiful legacy of baseball in Oakland. And so Bryan and I, started talking about, can we do something about it? And now with the help of over 50 other, Bay Area local investors, we are announcing that we're bringing a new team in town, and hopefully something that the Oaklanders can be proud of, and we can build on this wonderful legacy of baseball in Oakland.
Yeah, go ahead and jump right in, Bryan, on that too.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I think the idea came about in June, and at the time there was a lot of talk in the media and sports radio that, maybe Oakland's just not a pro sports city. Paul touched on this, but we saw the Raiders leave. We saw the Warriors move across town to San Francisco. And now with the A's leaving, becoming solidified, people thought, well, maybe Oakland just can't cut it. And we just whole hog reject that idea. We think Oakland is not only is a major league, or not only is a pro sports city, but is absolutely the greatest sports city and the greatest sports and fan community in the country. I mean, just look at all of the activation around the Sell movement this summer. We were incredibly inspired by the reverse boycott and what the Oakland 68s and Last Dive Bar and all the fan groups have done to activate around this idea of you can't take baseball out of this city. It's a really powerful message. It's spread throughout the entire country. And we thought, well, why would you take baseball from such an activated fan base? What if we can just slide in there and bring the people and bring the fans something new to root for? So that's the idea behind the Oakland Ballers.
Yeah, that's something we talked about. I know you guys came to me a few months back, and man, it's amazing you've been able to keep all the secret. But what I was trying to say is it's about the people for me. If you go to an A's game, sit in right field, sit in left field, it's about the people, not the game. You will enjoy the experience based on who you watch it with, not so much the team. So if the A's do leave Oakland, they can't take baseball away from us. And that's why I think this idea of the Ballers is so cool. It'll be, obviously you have the A's, you have the B's now, but the idea that you can still come together, still watch the sport you love in that opportunity you're presenting, I think is so magical, especially in the way people are hurt and betrayed by the A's these days. So, I mean, I guess tell us, where are you going to be able to watch these games? How will you be able to watch these games? And the Pioneer League, it's a whole other league that we haven't really paid much attention to. I know I dropped a couple hints, but how did all of this come to be in that regard?
Sure. Well, we could talk about the Pioneer League. The Pioneer League's great. It's a historic independent baseball league. It's been around since 1939. It plays in the Rocky region. So the other teams are in Idaho, Colorado, Utah, and Wyoming. And so we will be the first West Coast and California expansion team. We're the 11th team. The other teams obviously all play at altitude. We're going to play at sea level. So we think we're probably going to have a pretty big pitching advantage. And we're excited. It's a league that focuses on innovation around fan experience and around the game of baseball. So, everybody loves in soccer how there's sudden death at the end of a game, there's a shootout, and taking a nod from that at the Pioneer League, if there's a tie game after 9 innings, it doesn't go into extra innings. They have a knockout round, like a home run derby. And we think that's so much more exciting because after 9 innings of baseball, nobody really needs anymore. And, the idea is there's an open-mindedness to exploring what the actual fundamentals of the game are, and a willingness to make some tweaks here and there that could potentially bring fans back.
Yeah, I've been begging for a home run derby to end a game before extra innings. Somebody who covered baseball for a living and was on the beat, I mean, you lose so many hours of your life through these extra innings. Oh man, the home run derby to win it. I'm all about that. And
4 minutes, it decides what happens. It's a lot of fun. And you don't eat up your middle relief and destroy your whole rotation. It's great for everybody.
No, that's so much better. And I know that when I talked to you last, I saw you were constantly getting calls and trying to figure out logistics. And I mean, this is no small feat. And this is a big deal, what you guys are pulling off here. So how difficult has it been to just arrange the travel, the teams getting into a new league, having them come to a new market? I mean, this is not something that was just done overnight. You guys worked really hard on this for many months.
I've been building businesses my entire career. This is full stop the hardest one that I've ever been a part of. For all the reasons described, so many moving parts, so much logistics, so many partnerships and organizations that we want to work with together to really do this right. And we've been working kind of nonstop since June, where kind of it looked like this was going to happen. And the momentum picked up as we were inspired by the Self movement and all the work that Oakland 68s and the last dive bar and Hal have done to galvanize the energy. And that was just felt so Oakland to us. And we wanted to, try to continue this beautiful legacy of baseball in Oakland. We've been working really hard. And one of the things we're most proud of is that, our core value is the whole purpose of these games is for fans. Like the great magic of sports is the way that it brings fans together. And you talked about it, like the feeling in right field or left field with the drums and the crowd and like that joy that you feel like being bonded with your community. That's what all these sports are all about, right? And so we started this whole project by reaching out to the fans, some of the key leaders of the cell movement, to make sure that this was resonating with them, that this is something that they felt they could get behind. And we've been working hard with those groups in partnership. We've been working hard with organizations that are dedicated to preserving the youth access to the game of baseball. Bay Area Babe Ruth, OGSL, Noel Soul, folks who are out there making sure that kids still participate in the game. And the hardest part has been working with those organizations, listening to those organizations, hopefully bringing those organizations together so we can collectively continue the legacy of baseball in Oakland, because this is the best baseball city in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's the city of champions. There's no doubt about that. I mean, the A's won 4 World Series here. We haven't had one
since 1989. So the idea is we want to bring championship baseball back to Oakland.
Yeah, the A's won 4 in the Bay Area before the Giants even won 1. So, right. I mean, this is where everything was happening. And you're going to play at Laney, right? That's where you're going to play your baseball games?
Hopefully, we've been working very hard with the AD at Laney and the administration. That's the best place to play in the city. We're optimistic that we'll be playing there. That's where the Roots originally were playing. It's very accessible, right off of BART, right off of public transportation. A wonderful place to play baseball.
When does this really start? Like, when will the first game be?
First game in Oakland will be in June, but the season starts towards the end of May 2024. Okay. We made a decision, when we first decided that we were going to start a new team in Oakland, everybody said, great, you mean 2025, right? Because it definitely takes, 2 years at least to get this off the ground. And we made a decision that we had to play baseball in 2024 in Oakland. The A's are going to be playing at the Coliseum. I think that the relationship between the A's as an organization and the community is what it is. It's probably had better days than the current state of that relationship. And we felt it was really important next season to provide an alternative for fans who want to watch baseball.
And part of that logic came from talking to these groups who are both fan groups and represent like access to the game of baseball. And they sort of said that, the A's have kind of been stepped out for a few years, right? They've kind of mentally checked out, and like not having something to galvanize the baseball community of Oakland has led to participation decreasing at sort of all levels, right? And we a year of the A's being here, but decided that they wanted to leave, we think was avoid too much, and we wanted to make sure that we could start working with the community on building together what that next chapter of baseball could be.
The other thing is there's just a lot of heartbreak, right? Like we all feel it. Like we feel like our hearts got ripped out of our chests, and it kind of sucks. Like it sucks when your team, that has won, 4 world championships in Oakland, 9 world championships total. This is a historic baseball team. When they leave, and there's a feeling of like, well, what does that say about us? And we think it's important to move on to a new chapter as soon as possible, and to help turn the page on what that is and what that's been for the fans here.
Yeah, I mean, for kids, for the community, for A's fans, for all these people who have, like you said, had your heart ripped out of your chest. I mean, the A's have completely and utterly fractured their relationship with people in this market. So as a new up-and-coming team, how can you use that sadness, unfortunately, but, you're trying to heal, but how do you use the way people feel about the A's to maybe, jump off with the Ballers, get people invested in what you guys are doing? I know that there was some talk before, you guys would challenge them in certain ways, try to get under their skin a little bit. Do you have any ideas there?
Well, I'm going to punt on that one, Casey. We're going to do our own thing. Like, I think that the way we can galvanize the story is that it's an underdog story, right? We're a new team. We're an underdog, and Oakland is an underdog city. So I think there will be a lot of interest in what we're doing just based on that, and people will come out because they'll be curious. But I think it's our job to get people, to give people a fan experience that they love, to have families have a great time so that they'll want to come back again and again. You told us I remember when you took your daughters to a Roots game, you said they were in the drum section with the 68s. You said at the end of the game, they didn't watch even a minute of the game. And they said, Dad, when do we get to come back to another game? That's what we're going for. We're incredibly inspired by that type of feeling. So I think it's just about creating a fan experience that people want to come back for.
Yeah, I mean, forget the A's. I guess that's the way to go. And that story about the Roots game is true. It was a 1-1 draw. It may have been one of the worst games I've ever seen in any sport, yet we had the time of our lives, and my kids begged every single weekend to go back to the Roots games. And that's why it really instilled in me, it's the people. It's who you watch the games with. It's who you buy in with, and not so much the action on the field. And I think what you guys are bringing really can help bridge that gap here in Oakland, for sure.
And that's what we're all about. And we actually believe that we're going to put a really good product on the field.
Yeah.
We've hired folks to run our baseball operations. Don Wakamatsu, Hayward product, 35 years professional career, first Asian American manager in the history of MLB. A caliber of talent you don't normally see in the independent leagues. And so we think that we're going to put the best product on the field. But our value system is about creating joy for our fans. Our value system is about bringing communities together to give them something to cheer about, and cheering for the home team winning is just part of that.
Where do you get the player pool? How do you form a team? I mean, what's next for you guys? You're going to have your big announcement, and then after that, I mean, what happens when the rubber hits the road? If it hasn't already, I'm guessing you guys are already hard at work on all that.
Well, first of all, there's a lot of great players out there and available. MLB contracted its draft. There used to be 60 rounds in the draft, and now there's 20 rounds. So that's a lot of great players that aren't having an opportunity in affiliate baseball. And so you look at the Pioneer League, this is a league where you can see the future stars of tomorrow. There's a ton of people that have come through the Pioneer League. So it is, actually the baseball operations side, I think the hardest part was just bringing in the right people to run that side of our organization. I think we've done that, and then we're just letting them do their thing.
Yeah, and they won't have the lowest payroll in the Pioneer League.
You guys are making that promise now, right? We're not scraping the bottom of the barrel from the payroll standpoint.
We're scraping the bottom of the barrel, trying to do more with less. We want to put a great product on the field. And as Bryan said, there are tremendously talented baseball players out there who can play the game at a high level. And we think that Oakland is going to be the best place in the country for that talent. And we can put players on the field who can play the game and bring joy to fans.
Man, I think this is really exciting. I think it's really cool. I know that you guys have approached me. We've talked. We've filmed some interviews and things, and I just think that I'm envious of the whole process. I think it's so fun, and I know you're doing your best to document every step of this. But where do people go to learn more? Where do people go to really get invested in this team before they even play a game?
I'm so glad you asked that, Casey. Our website is www.oaklandballers.com, and that's where you can get information on the team. That's where you can get information on the schedule in the Pioneer League, which will be released, I think, next week in the beginning of December. That's where we intend to crowdfund as soon as possible. We're working with our lawyers to figure out exactly the timing on that, but that's where you can get information about our crowdfunding. So once again, that was www.oaklandballers.com.
And you can also follow us on all the socials. And you can get to the links for that on the Oakland Ballers website. And there will be more. This is our first announcement. We're announcing that we're with the support of the fans and the community, trying to make sure that this beautiful legacy of baseball in Oakland, the best baseball city in the country, continues, and that we can make it whatever we can make it, and nobody can dictate what it can and cannot be, and we can grow into something beautiful together. And there will be more. We have been working very hard on the players, and we'll have player announcements in the future. We'll have announcements on the schedule. So this is just the start of something. This is just the beginning.
Yeah, and I saw Angela from Oaklandish in your video too. Is she going to help create some merch for you guys? Are you going to invite?
Yeah, well, they're the best in town. Of course,
absolutely.
Of course, you partner with Oaklandish. Yeah, Angela has been tremendously supportive since the beginning. There's merchandise actually available on our website. And what was that URL, Bryan?
I think it was www.oaklandballers.com.
And the hats are great. And Christmas is coming up. And people want to rep a team that wants to be here.
That's awesome, man. Like I said, to watch this process, to get the little bits and pieces I've gotten just from speaking to you guys over the last few months, to see your phone blowing up the whole time we talked when we were down by Lake Merritt, just to see how much work you're putting in. I think this is going to be a really fun endeavor. And I do think I probably need like an Oakland Ballers logo somewhere around here. We'll have to get on that.
Another shelf.
We'll make that happen for you. And thanks for saying that, Casey. And we appreciate your support from the beginning. And speaking for fans, we appreciate your support. Sort of speaking for us in this whole sell movement process. I mean, it has been heartbreaking. It's been really difficult. And following some of your comments and really at least gave us something to do, something to think about, and we really appreciate it.
Man, that's so nice. Thank you. I mean, I know that this has been a gut punch for everybody, and I know what you're trying to do is not to replace the Oakland A's, because you're just never going to be able to do that. It's a generational value, but you're creating your own thing that everybody can really dive into, and I think that is going to be just awesome. And I think you've done it the right way. You starting with the people, building from there, going up. And did you finish forming? I know one of the last times we talked, you were working on like a fan bill of rights with Jorge Leon and the Oakland 68s. Did you come up with something?
Yeah, so we're working with Jorge Leon, president of the Oakland 68s, on a fan bill of rights. It was actually Jorge's idea. Basically a document that governs the relationship between a fan base and an organization. It's a really good idea. As far as we know, nothing like that really exists in the US. I know some European soccer clubs have it. And so we had read an interview where Jorge talked about, well, why isn't this a thing here? And we thought that was a great idea. So we approached him about working with us to create one. And we've made a vow with Jorge to have it ready to be published before the Oakland Ballers play a game in Oakland. So it'll be ready by next June.
Right. And the whole concept is consistent with our value system. Like, we believe that the purpose of these sports teams are for the fans. And so why not document what your actual commitment is to the fans. And Jorge has been, wonderful in terms of working to craft that.
That's awesome. Lastly, I'll ask you this. I mean, how has it been working with the city of Oakland, trying to build a new sports team in the city of Oakland? You see people say, Oakland can't work with sports teams. They've lost the Warriors, the Raiders, now soon the A's. I mean, what has your experience been like out here?
We've had a lot of support. And that is what's happening. That is what people are saying from outside of Oakland, from outside of California. You can't get stuff done. And that's a challenge. Let's prove it wrong. Let's prove it wrong. Let's do it together. Our notion is nothing can stop Oaklanders if we work together. Nothing. No challenge is too big. No ambition is too big. Nothing can stop us if we work together. So let's prove them all wrong.
Yeah, I want to see you guys succeed. I want to see the Oakland Roots succeed. That's at this point. It's amazing.
The teams that represent the value of Oakland, that bring joy and bring community to Oakland, we hope that they're successful. We want them to be successful. We know that they're going to be successful, if the fans want them to be.
Yeah. And what about Mr. Fab? How'd you get in with him?
Fab's great. We love Fab. We reached out. I think, we were lurking around his store, Dope Era, downtown, and got connected through a contact of his. And he's a big supporter of what we're doing, and we're excited to work with him as we launch the team.
And he used to play baseball. I think
nice.
That's what resonated. Is he's an Oaklander. He grew up playing baseball. In his own words, he's been disheartened by what's happening in the participation of the game of baseball, and kind of wants to see it, turn around. And we've been, we've loved talking to him, and we've loved his support.
All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. I know you have a lot of work to do to get this thing up and running, but again, I'm excited to follow it. I'm excited to see where it goes from here. And I know that a lot of people that I've talked to secretly, as we haven't been allowed to say anything about this process, you've again kept it under wraps masterfully, are pretty excited to see where this goes. And so I know right away that something interesting, special is happening, and it'll just be a really fun ride. So good luck to both of you.
Thanks, Casey. We appreciate you.